Hello, welcome back to Madrona's Pulse Teachings. I'm Iris, and I'm going to make this short-ish video about literally this transit that we're just journeying through right now, so December 11th and December 12th. And this is Venus opposite Mars. And I was not planning on making this video, but there was actually 2 requests for it in YouTube comments, and I was just reflecting after a very, very, very long day. It looks like it's really late here, but it gets dark at like 4:22, so that's why it's dark outside. And I was really feeling into this transit, and it is a significant transit. And I was also really feeling into it in terms of some of the bigger cycles that are ending. Put your hand up if like a big Pluto and Capricorn chapter / book in your life is ending. I'm going to put my hand up. And how the astrology of these times is opening up various layers of archetypes for us to move through into these new versions of life / ourselves with Pluto and Aquarius. And this start to Pluto in Aquarius is so significant because we have that Mars retrograde. And so Mars is retrograde now in Leo. And this week it's also trining Mercury retrograde. So remember slowing down and not trying to figure everything out. And on the 11th and the 12th, Venus is moving. She's moving beyond that conjunction with Pluto in Ceres, and she's going to be opposite Mars. She's going to be opposite Mars retrograde. Okay, and there is this beautiful little window that I think we can open if we are choosing. It's opening, and we can choose to walk through it with this transit. And I thought I was feeling so into it, and I was like, no, I am going to make that video. And I really invite you to imagine what it's like to fall in love with your higher self. And I don't mean just thinking about, I don't mean just like, I mean fall in luscious love with your own higher self. Because Venus is in Aquarius. And she is giving us, and she was just conjunct Pluto. Okay, and now she's moving on in this new cycle with her and Pluto. And she is going to have her own retrograde journey in Aries. And right now, she's moving through Aquarius, and she is giving us such access to our own awakening values, selves that come straight from higher mind self. And higher mind self is part of the web of all that is. It is simultaneously connected to all beings, and it does love us. It is part of our soul. And our ego, that ego, that blessed ego that we have, that we journey with in these lives, it is often very afraid of some of our higher self knowledge, wisdom. Because that means that part of the ego isn't real, isn't in control, doesn't know everything. And that part of what we've attached ourselves to and sweat over and cried over and fought for, some of those values that the ego is so attached to. And when an ego is over-attached, it's usually driven by fear. That those just aren't necessarily what this life is even about. And Venus in Aquarius, she knows what this life is about, especially when she's just been conjunct Pluto. Because she has been asked to come into Aquarius, and she was also with the Earth Mother and that eternal Earth wisdom, and help us come into our values with love, because Venus is divine love and she is the divine feminine. And now she has this oppositional uniting with a Mars retrograde in Leo. And here there is this window to glimpse with our own heart drive, that is ready to see. That is ready to see with such clarity who we are, who we really are, what really matters to us, what love really even means when we extract it almost completely from the tropes that most of us have consumed since we were in our mother's womb, the tropes of Hollywood, the tropes of mainstream media love, the tropes of every most popular pop song of love, the tropes that usually are actually drama that revolves around betrayal and lies and deceit, and that gets woven into the drama that creates the breakup song or the revenge song or the rom-com. And there's all these tropes that when we really come into what in the other part of my world is called critical love studies, Bell Hooks fans out there, Bell Hooks had a few books on love and critical love studies. We come into this whole other different experience of love, which is about honesty and intimacy and vulnerability. And this transit with Mars in retrograde in Leo is willing, wants to be willing to learn how that Mars part of ourself was taught to perform for the sake of validation that we somewhere across the line might have also interpreted as love. And this Mars in retrograde is ready to peel back those layers. You know, he's not going out. He's coming in. He's coming in so that he can get ready for his opposition with Pluto as we move into 2025. But before that, there's an opposition with a Venus freshly out of her opposition with Pluto. And so there's this window of recognition. There's this window of, you know, really looking at ourselves and seeing and listening and journaling with and being with our higher mind values and letting them just stream in those downloading ways that Aquarius can, inviting them. And letting that just radiate and kind of be in our heart area, which is where Leo can do so much good, and just let it fuse and let it rewrite narratives of love. Let it rewrite narratives of, you know, loyalty as love, of sacrifice of self, and especially sacrifice of one's own higher mind values. Because those values with Venus and Aquarius are part of what literally are the fabric of all that is. And the way that all that is then trickles into our embodiment and our unique life, our soul journey. And so there is this opportunity, you know, to let go and to just glimpse and fall in love with your higher love self. And then just let it be there. And let it move on. Venus is going to go on her journey. Mars is going to be on that journey. This is, of course, also this rewriting of the weaving of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And that divine feminine just went through its conjunction with Pluto. Just got the wisdom of Ceres as well. Just learned that, okay, there has been some depth to my journey. And I was taught some things about love that I absolutely don't agree with, and I'm ready to let them go and start a new journey of embodying my authentic self more and more. That divine feminine self that now is going and reaching into higher mind self can merge with this active rewriting of the divine masculine. Okay, and we use these words, and they're complicated words. And we put that kind of adjective, divine masculine, divine feminine, to show that there are these energetic archetypes, these archetypes that do dance with each other. And we all embody them. We embody them regardless of our gender, regardless of sexuality. We just embody these archetypal energies. And they can speak to us all through different genders. Your divine masculine can speak through she and they, and vice versa, and we can weave it all, and we're all on our own unique journeys here. But Mars is that divine masculine principle, and Venus is part of that divine feminine, and they are talking. And Mars is going on a journey to learn some of its hardest lessons in our patriarchal societies and histories and present, which is the value of the strength of vulnerability, the value of the strength of nurture, the value of the strength of softness. These are such needed lessons of Mars going into Cancer. And that is going to come in the new year. But first, we have this window, this fallen in love with our higher self in a somewhat, slow way. Mars is in retrograde. And so letting go of some of those tropes that are a multi-billion-dollar industry in media industries, and being with what's real, which is not a multi-million-dollar industry in Hollywood. It's actually the inverse of that. But in the spiritual path, and for thousands of years, it is proven to be some of the most juicy journeys that we can go on. And this is one of them, this window, this short transit, just because of how poignant it is that Venus is coming after this conjunction with Pluto, and Mars is on its retrograde journey opposite that Pluto, who's just come into Aquarius. And so how this journey, of opening to those higher self values is also part of the new chapter that's opening up with Pluto entering into Aquarius. And this is now not such a short video, so I will stop chatting and I will send you out that beautiful, juicy merging of Mars and Leo retrograde and Venus in Aquarius, higher mind, love, and blessings. Be well.